Hi everybody, welcome. This is Rob Provencher here from the Wizard of Light Academy. I want to talk to you today in this video about a topic entitled, What I Don't Like About Forums. Well, it sounds kind of odd for me to say that since I co-founded No BS Photo Success, which has been around for about 8 to 10 years now. We have many members. And even though I have a forum, even though I participate in a forum, I want you to understand what I'm saying, and please take it in the right context. Let me explain what I mean. It's all about learning, really, and it's all about learning and prospering and growing your business. So the problem, the issue I have in a nutshell with forums is when you got a lot of people together, and that's a cool thing, nothing wrong with that. But if you have a post and somebody has a question and or an issue and or something they want to talk about, you get a lot of opinions. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not that I'm against democracy or anything like that, but for the newbie or the person who may be directed down a different road or is prone to confusion, it's not a good thing. Because what happens is somebody might post a topic and or a question, and somebody will come in and give a really good answer. And then somebody else will give a different answer, and perhaps that answer will be based on anecdotal experience and or something they might have experienced secondhand or conjecture. Or maybe it's just an opinion. And then a third person, and then a fourth, and then a fifth. Or what happens is a question or an issue will come up and people will debate it like it's a religion and or politics. And the reason I bring that up is that you understand the difference between something that is of value that you can take and use and model and swipe and borrow and creatively apply to run a professional photography studio. See, the problem is that when we turn it into a drama and we turn it into a political debate, or God forbid, you know, when people start talking religion, I'm not saying religion gets discussed in a forum, but I swear to God, when people talk about the issue of RAW versus JPEG or PC versus Mac, it becomes equivalent to a religious debate. Lots of fervor, somebody always gets hurt. You know, that sort of aspect to it I consider to be all nonsense. I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm not saying I'm not prone to it. However, you'll never really see me get too deeply involved in any of those topics that sort of go down the road of politics and or religion. I don't mean specifically, again, religion or politics. I'm talking about equivalent to that type of topic. You know, we're right, no, we're right, no, we're right, damn you, no, damn you. And people start squabbling back and forth. And it's no longer an issue of what's really going to work, what's really going to succeed in your photography business. It becomes an issue of taking sides, and it becomes an issue of who's right and who's wrong. So, kind of silly. Now, you know, I am actually a paying member of 3 other forums. They're not necessarily photography forums. However, I have in the past joined forums just to get more information. I'm an information junkie, both in photography, on success, self-development, and especially on marketing. So, and I believe it's really important to constantly be feeding the mind, feeding the heart and soul whenever I'm driving on trips and I'm going away somewhere, whenever I'm workflowing a wedding at the studio. I got my headphones on and I'm listening to stuff. I am self-educating all the time. So it's important that when you have a forum situation, you be able to take the knowledge that is important, separate that from the debate, the hotly debated stuff. Let me give you one more example. Then I'm going to close off and talk a little bit about what I consider to be the higher level of operating in a forum. So for example, let me give you just, you know, this is something that I've seen. I mean, this is from my studio. These are full 4-sided, full color flyers, promotional flyers. You know, that one's for babies, this one's a generic one, so we have a baby, we have a maternity, family, young family, older family, baby, blah, 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 blah. Family on location. And then here we've got high school seniors, you see. So the reason I have these is I take these and I mail them to clients. Okay, so if I go to a forum and I say this is what I do, somebody will invariably come along in the long list of commentary and say, well, I tried direct mail, that's direct mail, that doesn't work in my community. And based on one experience, they now poison the water well. And all of a sudden, they come across as a voice of reason, maybe. I mean, I personally wouldn't, but many would take it as a voice of reason because they sound like an authority. And they sound like they're credible, but they're not. It's opinion, and it's one crappy experience. Or generalizing, so somebody might say, well, you know, marketing doesn't work in my area. Well, what, did everybody decide, or sorry, direct mail doesn't work in my area. Did everybody in your area have a town meeting, get together and decide they are no longer going to... This is nothing more than delivering information to a target market. That's all it is. So, and I'm not trying to force this issue down your throat. That's not my goal here. My goal here is to get you to understand this is just one example. That's all it is. There are a million, well, maybe 1,000 or maybe 100 different examples of how some of the topics will become watered down. Because in a forum, it's exactly that. A forum is a place where people meet and discuss. Again, I got nothing wrong with that. It's just one aspect to it. That's what drives me nuts about forums. All right, having said that, you know, whenever somebody whines, bitches, moans, or complains, I don't have a problem with that. Unless, no, I don't have a problem if they're going to give me a solution. So I'm not going to leave this hanging without giving you the solution. So when you have a learning environment in a group setting, the highest and most effective is what's called a mastermind. Now, a mastermind is when 2 or more people get together with a common purpose. Now, the ideal situation is when each person has a very distinct drive, focus, and desire and passion. And I think that's part of the problem with the forum, is not everybody has that. A lot of people go there just for the social aspect or the pastime, or they should be running their photography business. So a mastermind has that at the highest and most ideal level, where you get together, your common purpose is to help one another, but each individual has a very direct path they're on, and it's success goal oriented. So that when you have an opinion for somebody else, you're not getting hooked, you're not drawing on conjecture or anecdotal evidence. I've seen this at the highest level of a mastermind, where if somebody doesn't really know, so they don't comment, and this is what you want, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't comment. But the alternative, and this is totally legitimate, ask questions. Ask questions. You know, when somebody asks me a question, it helps me. If they don't know what I'm talking about because they just don't know that area, but if they ask me, hey Rob, what do you mean by that? Or Rob, what would you do in an alternate situation? Or what would you do, let's say, in the worst case scenario? What would you do if that market went away tomorrow? These are really powerful questions to ask somebody. So there's 1,000,001, or maybe 1,001, perhaps 100 examples like that when it comes to questions. So, but the idea is that the highest level, that the individual is focused on their own success. Now in a mastermind setting, that is the primo place to be. And I don't know, maybe it's a coincidence or not, but it seems to me that the more I pay to be involved in that kind of a situation, and the more the others are, also they're paying a higher price, it seems the higher level of participation. I am in 3 groups other than the forum that I run, 2 of which I pay, one I pay $10 a month, one I pay $20 a month, and one I pay $500 a month. Yes, $500. And the quality of the $500 a month group is infinitesimal. It's night and day. Not that the $20 and $10 group are not. They're both pretty good. But I've gotten really good at weeding out and looking for the good information. So that's what I'm not crazy about forums. It's mostly to do for the newbie, for the person who's just starting out, or the person who's easily swayed. So when you get into a mastermind situation, you need to have that common goal. If others don't have it, you have to learn to tune them out and stay focused on your own goal and to know where to get the valuable information and support and information that apply to your specific goal. So ultimately, it's on your shoulders. I understand that, and that's what's important to understand as well, that it's on your shoulders to be clear about where it is you want to go. You want to be clear about what success will mean for you as an individual, as a business owner, and as a photographer. So that's what a mastermind is all about. Oh, by the way, in a mastermind setting, typically there's a leader. In the group that I'm in, there's one guy who's in charge, and all of the rest of us are more or less just minions. But, you know, we're minions paying $500 a month, and we're all pre-qualified to have gotten into this particular group. It's just not open to everybody. So, and my point being is that when you have that situation, when you've got strong leadership, it's not anti-democratic, it's just strong leadership. That's an important thing to look for as well. So we need to have somebody who's qualified as a leader, who knows to steer us down the right road, the right direction, without getting personally involved, without getting too political, without arguing the wrong arguments, the wrong debates. Like RAW versus JPEG, or which computer to use, or should I shoot Canon, should I shoot Nikon, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.